Welcome to another edition of The Voice of Palestine. It's January 2nd, 2013, our first show of the new year, and I'm your co-host, Hanna Qawas. Tonight we will be talking with Claire Anastas, who is visiting BC from Bethlehem, Palestine. She will tell us about the difficulty in the living condition of the Palestinians there and the impact of the apartheid wall on their daily lives. This show will also include a Voice of Palestine commentary to mark the new year. Good evening, Claire, and welcome to the Voice of Palestine.
Good evening. Hi.
Yeah, it's good to hear that you are here in Vancouver.
Yes.
You are from my hometown. As our listeners know, I'm from Bethlehem also. I haven't been there.
And my neighbor as well.
Yeah, your neighbor. Yeah, I haven't been there since 1967, since the
Wow.
So I love to go back and see what's happening there, but I hear it's getting more difficult all the time. But before we go into that, could you tell us, because our listeners here in the West don't know really what happens at Christmas. One of the most vivid memories that I have is the day before Christmas when the patriarch comes to Bethlehem with,
with a nice festivals and so many scouts welcome the patriarch to enter from my road where I live in the main street in between Jerusalem and Bethlehem, and they enter Bethlehem with the nice music and celebrations, so many celebrations the whole day, so as to stand in the main square, major square, where the Nativity Church and gathered and do the prayers, and then they welcome the patriarchs to enter the Nativity Church to prepare for the midnight mass, which it is a wonderful celebration. But even while I'm here, I was wondering why all these doesn't show in the media, or people can't enjoy it. Because it's a wonderful time over there. We enjoy being there, and I miss to be there this year, because this year it was a special year for the Christmas celebration, because all the scouts acted differently. They stood in the peace symbolic. Do you know the peace symbolic sign?
Yeah.
Yeah, and a blue scout, they stand with two words, love all. And actually we had like special Jewish people who came and celebrate Christmas with us. And it was a wonderful year this year. And we felt that there might be something for next year, for 2013, which is it makes us feel that we wish to have peace and live together with all.
Yeah, when the patriarch comes from Jerusalem, there were no checkpoints. What they do when they come to the wall, they open the gates for them, or what happens? I haven't been there, as I told you, for a long time. But do they allow them to go through a gate, or how they cross the wall?
Oh, actually, they built the wall like the snake where I live, in the entrance in between Jerusalem and Bethlehem, where Rachel's tomb, where the patriarch has to pass from there and stand there to pray and to welcome him into Bethlehem. So they open 3 gates for him, so as to have an access, and they open it just when he passed. They close it behind.
Do they check people for weapons and things like that when they enter, or they allow the patriarch and his company to go?
actually they give a special permit for special people, for the mayor, and he has to be committed because he has to be also to save everything over there. Like they don't give normal people at all.
Who's the mayor of Bethlehem now?
Oh, she's a great woman, and she's a brave woman, and we are really appreciate that she could be elected, and we believe that she will make changes. She's from family members, and her name is Vera Baboon.
Baboon,
Baboon, yes. She's an activist in peace and strong woman.
Yeah. Also, you know, when I was there were more than one Christmas. There were 3 Christmases, as far as I remember. One for the Catholic and one for...
Yeah.
Could you tell us a bit about those? Because our friends in the West don't know what happens, really.
Oh, yeah. Now, each religious part, the Catholic has their own patriarch, and he has to enter on Christmas time, like in the 23rd. But in the 6th of January, there will be also the Orthodox, Syrian, and the Coptic. They celebrate the Orthodox time, a Christmas time, and they come the same day, and they start from 7 in the morning with the same celebration and so many scouts, and the whole day they celebrate with the scouts and like playing on the drums on the streets, and people will watch all these things and walk, and really it's a wonderful time. And the 3 patriarchs each has his own time, and they go back and forth to wait for the 3 of them until they enter Bethlehem and celebrate. Each one has to make his prayers in the Nativity Church in their part, and they have also midnight mass as well. And next day people will celebrate Christmas Day for the Orthodox and Syrian and the Coptic.
Yeah, that's on the 6th.
That's on the 6th of January and 7th.
The Christmas Day will be on the 7th.
We have a big community, Orthodox community over there, and Syrian and Catholic, like it's all mixed. But we all celebrate together over there.
Yeah, and I remember also the Armenians celebrated different.
Oh, the Armenians, yes, but later on.
Still the same. They're
still the same.
They haven't united yet.
because each patriarchate has to represent his community. That's all.
True.
But we are all the same, and we celebrate Christmas we enjoy it because it's a long time to celebrate and really feel on real Christmas over there. Here we just have a meal and it's not like that.
I guess, and it's better to celebrate 3 Christmases within a month rather than one, isn't it? Because
exactly.
We celebrate with everybody. You know, I remember we celebrated the Catholic Christmas and the Orthodox Christmas because my dad was Orthodox and my mom is a Catholic, so we used to celebrate with our grandparents from both sides, you know. So
that's a good thing, because I have it too, because I'm Catholic, and I can have the chance actually to celebrate Christmas with my family, and no one will interrupt. And on the Orthodox Christmas, I can celebrate with my husband and my children family as well. So
it's lots of fun actually, and you know, I think it's important for people to come visit and interact with people. What do you think? Do you have a message for people all over the world to you know, an invitation to come, and how they should do it, you know, because I hear the most Christians go through the Israeli tourist companies and they don't don't stay much in Bethlehem. Is that the case?
Yeah, that's our problem over there, especially after the borders and the walls built surrounded Bethlehem and surrounded my building as well, where I live, in the main biblical routes, and they changed the entrance of Bethlehem. So they are controlling all the pilgrimage who enter the holy city of Bethlehem too, and they are willing to stay, but they have to follow the program, which is really weird, because they since the borders they are entering and like go to a specific places or visit the holiest sites and go back to Israel, unless like people insist, or there is a big issue about this. Actually, I don't want to interrupt in it, but they are controlling on the pilgrimage to let them stay for one night and go back to Israel as well. So I would love to invite people to stay in Bethlehem and be in all the city, as it used to be when I was a young girl. And like Bethlehem used to embrace and absorb all people from all over the world, like since centuries. So when I was a young girl, it was the same, but since the borders, it became really hard. And we affected economically, actually, because most of the benefits go back to the Israeli side, not to like even to the Israeli specific people, like who works and control on these things. So we affected a lot, and we want to. And I would like to invite people to come to my place as well to see what's going on. It's just in the entrance of Bethlehem, where I have a guest house, small guest house, but it's empty most of the time because I'm not a hotel, or we can't have individual people. So many people will enter Bethlehem. People have a special hospitality, a wonderful hospitality, and welcome all people, all internationals, because that's how we survive there. And this is our life. This is us, what we are.
Yeah, and lots of people, Bethlehemites, really open their doors to guests from all over the world, and at no
and even offer like meals or drink or everything. This is what we are. We can change ourselves even if there's anything happen from the politician or whatever it was.
Yeah, and it's really clear the economic situation is really bad, and people are suffering, and
are leaving as well.
Leaving as well, and I think it's a state policy. I know. And
we are injured as Christians as well, because we've been 90%, just 19 in 1987. Now we are less than 9 in Bethlehem city, and we are also some. About 80 Christian families applied for the immigration. Some of them get it and they are leaving, and they left on this Christmas, and the others are still waiting to leave, looking forward to leave, because they obliged to leave. They don't want to leave. They wish to stay, but they obliged to leave.
Yeah, not only they wish to stay, many Christians all over the world, the same with other Muslims who are refugees all over the world, would love to go back, but in a free country where, you control your own economy and your own destiny, and no pressures from the outside, and no economic pressures that will force you to leave. So
because also people get into really big troubles. Especially financially, when they bankrupt, we all affected. We lost our health insurance, which it is risky to stay there, actually, for our children, because no one can afford to pay like something awful when it needed. So, and also the original people, we used to live together with all like Jewish, Muslims, Christians, as brothers and sisters. That's how we used to be our life.
No.
And we wish to have it back, but
Yeah, no, I realize that my grandfather used to tell me stories about living together with everyone, and it's really the economic squeeze is, I think it's intentional, and even to the point where they force you, if you have land and they want the land, they force you by putting all sorts of restriction and taxes on you, so you will be forced to leave it or sell it. And I think this has been done not just for Christians but for every Palestinians. So could you tell us a bit about this wall that they call security wall that they're building, and what they are afraid of? I mean, people, Bethlehem always been peaceful, and it's clear what they're doing is really isolating Bethlehem and building settlements on stolen Palestinian property. There is, according to the Guardian, I don't know if you've seen the Guardian article about Christians in the Holy Land, they're saying there is 22 Israeli settlements, illegal settlements, that are surrounding just Bethlehem. Which is, I think, they suffocate.
And we had roads through Bethlehem to contact the settlements together.
You have, you said...
We have roads.
Oh yeah, roads.
In Bethlehem to contact settlements, to have an access, short roads, like shorter roads.
Is that right, that goes through Bethlehem? And these are only Jewish-only roads?
Only. We're not allowed to go by car over there.
Yeah.
And they build in the bottom of the mountains to make tunnels and roads outside in the cities, in the heart of Bethlehem as well.
Yeah, and no Christian or Muslim Palestinian could come on it, or...
No, because they have to pass through the checkpoint, which we are not allowed at all.
You're not allowed to go to these...
No, even I'm living in a very sensitive conflict situation. I'm living very close to the entrance of the checkpoint 300 between Jerusalem and Bethlehem, in the main road where it used to be, not now, where they built up the 3 gates for the Patriarch gates, and where we used to welcome the Patriarch in front of my building, but they put walls in front of my building and around, surrounded it from 3 sides with the walls and cameras. And even I became in Palestine, but we are living in an area called Area C, which it means we are still under Israel's control completely. So we have to pay them taxes, but we are even if we are in Palestine, and both of them were asking for property taxes, but we obliged to fight until so we are still struggling there, because we can't ask for any rights. While I'm living in a building where it has 3 big businesses, it's owned by the family, and we work hard to build it up, and what we lost, it was millions, and when we bankrupt, no one did anything for that. They were they were threatening even to prison us and cut the electricity for 4 months because we won't be able to pay the electricity bills over there. And the siege time and the occupation, it was awful time, the whole year. And at the end, they put the wall in one day. When the children went to school, they returned back, found themselves surrounded from 3 sides. That's my life, and we're obliged since then, even before they built the wall since 1996, we're obliged to close our businesses slowly and lose all the crowded people used to be in that street. All international must pass from there. Jewish people used to come to our lively street to buy their all their stuff because it was worth it for them, from how the prices used to be very low, and they could get from my shops organic fresh fruits with a special offers and low prices as well. So, and I used to sell souvenirs for all and home collections, and my husband and his brother were special professional mechanics working with cars and selling new spare parts for cars. So they used to fix it or renew it. So it was a big business. The biggest business was for my husband and his brother and the whole family. So we lost all these, and then at the end they put the wall around the house. And the children impact was that they buried alive in a big tomb, and they were asking us to leave, and so we had a conflict between, because it's not easy. They because after what they suffered the whole years, and the end is to be buried with the 3 walls around the house. It wasn't fair at all, but we couldn't do anything, neither for our rights. And when we tried to contact human rights organization, just as a civilian family, affected completely in life and can't go on in anything in the life, in any source of income. No one did anything for that. And we are still asking as civilian family, to whom we have to return back to get our rights.
Yeah, and I just seen Bob Simon introducing his 60 Minutes. You appeared on it in April. Yes. But he introduced it. I was really mad because he introduced it. He said that the only Christians where is no violence against them is in the Holy Land. That was terrible, because this is violence. What they're doing to the people is violence. Taking their livelihood is violence.
Imagine in this building, we are 14 members. None of them are children, and an old lady, a woman, the old mother. She's sick woman, and she, imagine how it can tell by itself. I don't need to explain more.
Yeah, he doesn't see the violence in all these actions, Mr. Bob Simon. But again, I think he got in trouble just touching the subject by the Zionists. And, he asked the Israeli ambassador, this Michael Oren, the Israeli ambassador in the U.S., and he asked him, are the Christian citizens of the Holy Land, are the Christian Palestinians or Christians in the Holy Land, are they important to you? And he answered very straightforward. He said, no, basically they're not. The only Christians we are concerned about is our Christians, the Israeli citizens. So obviously he doesn't give a damn about the other Palestinian Christians living in Bethlehem or outside, or who are not Israeli citizens. But having said that, I really looked at also at the wall surrounding your home. Could you tell us how they decided to do that? And also, you said Israelis, Jewish Israelis used to come and buy. Can they still come across the wall and buy from you?
No, never. No, they can't anymore. Because they used to come and buy our stuff, their home collections and holy stuff, to bless it from the racist stone, which it used to be just across the road from my building. But when they put the wall in front of my building and around it, and put another wall in front of my uncle's family building, where we used to cross the road, they put 2 walls to make in the middle an entrance for the only Jewish people to go there, and they can never be in our shops. Or we affected completely from this wall, because if we want to go out from Bethlehem and return back to Rish's tomb, we have to cross the borders, which we are not allowed to pass, even to visit our father-in-law family. Imagine they put the borders and checkpoints between the son and the father. And between my uncle, and they cut off my uncle's family, cousins, my sister, who lives in the same street. She became in Jerusalem, we became in Bethlehem. But we all can't not be able to pass unless we can get a special permit for a special reason.
Yeah, and before they signed the Oslo process, before 93, I hear the people used to go to Jerusalem anytime they want, they used to go.
Oh, yeah, we lived in Jerusalem.
Yeah,
my childhood in Jerusalem, in the same street. We're deprived to pass through the borders where we used to be in our...
Before, yeah, now.
Before.
Yeah, and before Oslo. So what did Oslo bring to the Palestinian people? It brought miseries and more confiscation of land and more settlements. That's what the Oslo process brought. So I think it's really upsetting because, instead of giving the Palestinians their rights and giving them independence, they made it worse, especially to the civilian population.
The problem is, as civilians, we know nothing about the politicians, what they are doing. We just felt that we are victimized by all these things around, and we just have it, and we were crying, and no one took care of us and did anything for us. That's what's going on there, and we can never be involved with all these things. We are only civilians who want to grow up our children in peace and love and freedom, and we are trying to do our best to make it.
Yeah, no, I realize.
And hope we can do it. That's what we are.
Yeah, that's true. But the problem, Claire, they are speaking in our names, and they're selling us out basically. And we have to confront them and say enough is enough. It's been almost 20 years since the Oslo process started, and nothing achieved. They promised us a state in 5 years. That's what Clinton signed on. The U.S. ex-president, he signed on giving the Palestinian a state within 5 years in 1998, and instead of giving a state, it's our lives are getting miserable, But again, this is another story, and we urge our listeners to really look into all these things and all the broken promises that the U.S. given the Palestinian people, and not that just the U.S., even our leadership gave us promise that this is what's going to happen in 5 years. But again, as I said, that's another story. But I'd like to go back to the situation with the Palestinian Christians. Kairos Palestine finally last year issued a document to all Christians all over the world, and they said basically, here we stand with us. And many churches all over the world supported this call, although the majority didn't, because for all sorts of reasons. Actually, we're going to have our commentary at the end of this show about this specific thing. But what do you think of the Kairos call, and how you look at it because it was signed by most of the Christian leadership in the Holy Land?
I agree with that, because everything will start from like a small spot, and then it will grow up and grow up until it works and make the changes, because the Cairo documents it works for peace and real peace, and I hope that the peace will come soon, because we are really tired in our life over there, and nobody's listening to us. We cried a lot, and we were begging, asking the Lord to help us over there, and who helped us? God.
Yeah.
And to be alive there, because we've been living in the middle of horrible life for a long time, and we could be killed from any mistake or anything around us in where I live. Yeah. And at the end, we had this wall, but we believe in God and His help, and I believe in this. When the churches start working for peace, that makes change. And I believe if the people all over the world will act and if they are really Christians or Jewish or Muslims, a real, really religious people, I believe they will come over there, and I invite them to come and make a real peace to live together. That's what we need, because we are buried alive over there. There's no life there.
Actually, it's humanist to stand with the oppressed, not just according to all the religions, but also to human, human principles that people should live equally and in peace and equality. You came here basically as a visit to you visiting the U.S. and a bit of Canada, and you speaking to some people here in the churches. Could you tell us of the purpose and why you want to invite them back home, or what's the message you're giving to these churches and where they should stand?
Yeah, actually I have some really special great friends from Canada and America who were in my place and stayed over there in my guest house and to share my family life. So they sponsored me to come to visit them on this Christmas, to meet also people and celebrate Christmas in the churches here, in some churches where my friends celebrate Christmas in their different churches, and I met some people who were really interested to have a woman with her son visiting in Christmas time, and I liked what their children act. The Holy Family in Bethlehem, and was all talking about the Holy Land, and specifically Bethlehem, where Jesus was born, where I was born, 1 block beside the Nativity Church as well. So I could have other friends and invite them and welcome them to come to Bethlehem, to stay in the Bethlehem, because we have a bad system over there, and everybody is controlling in it, which it doesn't make really sense for others to know about our life, what we are and what we are struggling with, and to stay in the city. And I became isolated in a corner, and no one will know unless friends will know about our guest house. So now I could have so many friends and welcome them, and they would love to come and stay and be there. That's what we need to have people go over there and meet us all and be with us. We need it because we are alone there.
And it's important for them to show solidarity, because I think the economic situation is getting worse and worse, and if they want to show solidarity, they shouldn't stay at hotels in Tel Aviv or in Jerusalem. They should stay with the people of Bethlehem, where Christ was born, and where they're going to visit the historic places there, historic and religious places there. So really it's important for them to come to Bethlehem and stay there and show solidarity with the Palestinian people. And Claire, I watched you have a website there, and I looked at your house surrounded by 3 sides by this infamous wall, the apartheid wall, and in front of it looks like lots of destruction and things like that. At the 4th side there's lots of
they left it there.
I don't know how anybody could live in such a house, who is surrounded. It's like a prison, really. It is a prison that you call home. And I encourage people to look at your website and look at this house. What's the website? How people can access it? Is it Anastas
Bethlehem.com.
Yeah, Anastas-Bethlehem.com. Anastas is spelled A-N-A-S-T-A-S. Okay, that's great, and I encourage our listeners to go to the website and also, check the website carefully, and I think it's important for those people who go visit there to buy locally, buy from Palestinians in Bethlehem and Beit Sahur and Beit Jala, and to support them because they need all the support they can get now and not after peace comes, which Israel obviously think they want to create facts on the ground and hoping that the Palestinian people will disappear, but that's not going to happen, and I'm sure the people of Bethlehem will stay there and will like the priest of Beit Jala said in that article in The Guardian, he said we'll pray and resist, and I hope they'll pray and resist because that's our future, our destiny, and our homeland. You have a final thought to our
listeners?
Yeah.
I would like to ask all people to pray for peace there, for at least for our children's generation, because they are leaving and we are losing the Christianity over there as a Christian community, and because people wants to stay and the other people wants to come back, but it's hard.
Yeah, and the only thing that's stopping people from coming back is the laws that entrenched in the Israeli occupation. We thank you, Claire, and it was a pleasure talking to you. Hopefully we'll see you next year in a free Palestine and a free Bethlehem where people could move easily back and forth, and we'll welcome all our visitors from all over the world. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
That was our host, Hana Kawas, talking with Claire Anastas from Bethlehem, who's currently on a tour here in British Columbia. And now we go to our Voice of Palestine commentary. To speak in muffled tones would be less than human. Nelson Mandela. Since Cairo's Palestine issued the Bethlehem call, "Here we stand, stand with us," just over a year ago, Israeli injustices have multiplied. Illegal Israeli colonies continue to be built on stolen Christian and Muslim Palestinian lands, putting economic hardship and the brutal matrix of control on the Palestinian civilian population. Bethlehem Christians feel the squeeze as Israeli settlements have spread, with 22 colonies now surrounding the holy city. Ethnic cleansing continues all over historic Palestine, and the apartheid wall devours Palestinian land, with new plans to encircle the Kremasan monastery near Bethlehem and force even more Palestinians to leave their homeland. Israeli military aggression goes on unabated, the most recent being the brutal 8-day attack and bombardment on Gaza. The original Bethlehem call received some support from Christian churches in the West, but largely it fell on deaf ears, since the majority of churches in the West either support Israel unconditionally or claim neutrality and only speak in muffled tones. Israel is also being empowered by the unconditional support of the U.S., Canadian, and other Western governments. The U.S. economy is being sustained by its weapons sales to its Arab lackey and dictatorial regimes that are the principal purchasers of American arms. In fact, the U.S. tripled its global arms sales in 2011 to $66.3 billion U.S. We cannot count on our governments to support human rights and democracy. It is well known that they are the ones who are supporting and maintaining dictatorships in the Arab world, and they are the ones that are supplying weapons to Israeli apartheid. Atrocity and war crimes in the Holy Land should and must be challenged. As Desmond Tutu said, we should not be neutral in situations of injustice unless we have chosen the side of the oppressor. Our only hope is that grassroots organizations, conscientious trade unions, churches, and other progressive parties will answer the Bethlehem call and the Palestinian civil society call for boycott, divestment, and sanctions against Israel. It was done against South African apartheid. It can and will be done against Israeli apartheid. We hope next year will bring a qualitative change and that we will celebrate the holiday season in a free Bethlehem and a free Palestine. And with that, we conclude another edition of The Voice of Palestine. I've been your co-host, Marian Kawas. We will finish off this show with a beautiful piece of music by Palestinian singer Manal Abdo entitled The Moment of Truth. And this is what Ms. Abdo said about the song that she both composed and sings. I made this song to deliver the voice of the Christian Palestinians from the midst of the suffering to the whole world. For those who do not read, just listen. Here is Manal Abdo.